traditional SEO is changing like really fast right now. I mean, what actually happens when AI starts answering search queries directly?
Yeah, that is the huge question. Are websites even ready for an ecosystem where the search engine isn't just a directory anymore, but, an actual answer engine?
Right, an answer engine. Because it feels like a total paradigm shift.
Oh, it's the single biggest architectural shift we've seen in the history of the internet, honestly.
Yeah.
We are aggressively moving away from basically 2 decades of a very specific, conditioned user behavior.
You mean the whole like typing in a fragmented keyword, getting 10 blue links, and hopping from page to page.
Exactly. Manually piecing together the answer yourself.
And now suddenly the user just gets this instant, perfectly synthesized summary right at the very top of their screen. Which, I mean, it's undeniably convenient if you're the one searching.
Right, of course.
But if you are the one creating that content, if you're a business owner or, a digital marketer relying on organic traffic, it feels like the ground is just falling out from under you.
Oh, totally.
If the search engine becomes an answer engine, the fundamental goal of getting the click is just fundamentally threatened.
Which is exactly why the panic out there is so palpable right now.
Mm.
I mean, for years, the transactional nature of the web was straightforward. You optimize for keywords, you earn the ranking, you secure the click, and then, that click becomes your traffic.
Right.
Now, the AI model is interceding. It crawls your website, digests your proprietary information, and serves it directly to the user. The middleman, the click itself, is being heavily abstracted, and in a lot of cases, just eliminated entirely.
And that dynamic is really the anchor for our deep dive today. We're basing this whole conversation on a really insightful, forward-looking article published by Virtual Dreams.
Yeah, they're a digital marketing and content strategy agency, and they've been extensively analyzing this exact shift.
They really have.
Yeah.
So our mission today is to demystify these AI search models. We need to get past the superficial advice and understand exactly how these models ingest your data.
Right, what they actually look for.
Exactly. And what architectural strategies you need to apply so your brand remains visible and trusted.
And to do that effectively, we have to completely overhaul our mental model of what a search engine actually is today. The Virtual Dreams article uses this analogy that I think just frames it perfectly.
Oh, the smart librarian concept. I thought this was such a powerful way to reorient our thinking.
It really is.
Because historically, the internet was basically a massive card catalog. You pull the drawer, find the index card, walk down the aisle, and locate your own book. You do the work.
Right, you're doing all the heavy lifting.
But today, think of the internet as this hyper-intelligent librarian who has already memorized every single book in the building. When you ask a question, they don't point you toward aisle 4. They pull the best paragraphs from 5 different books, summarize them, and literally hand you a custom-written report right at the front desk.
And understanding that synthesis process, like how the librarian actually writes that report, is why this isn't just some theoretical exercise for next year's roadmap. The data shows this transition is happening right now at scale.
Yeah, the numbers in the Virtual Dreams analysis are genuinely shocking. Just looking at the June data alone, Microsoft reported a 357% year-over-year increase in AI-driven referrals to certain beta-tested websites.
Which is staggering. A 357% jump in just 12 months.
Wow.
And it accelerates from there, The source highlights a SEMrush projection stating that AI-driven search is literally projected to overtake traditional organic search by 2028.
Wait, 2028. So we are looking at a 3 to 4 year window before the main way humans discover things online is entirely upended.
Exactly. Makes total sense why the Smarty marketing study they cited found that 9 out of 10 businesses are actively concerned about their brand's visibility right now.
Okay, let's unpack this, though, because I have to play devil's advocate here. There seems to be an inherent contradiction.
Okay, let's hear it.
If the AI is just serving up the answer directly in an AI overview or like right there in the ChatGPT window, the user rarely needs to leave that interface.
Right.
So if overall click-through rates are going to plummet anyway, why should you or I spend thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours optimizing for a system that actively prevents users from visiting our actual websites?
Yeah, that is the core existential dread of modern SEO right there. But it completely misinterprets the quality and the intent of the traffic that actually does click through.
How so?
We have to separate raw volume from conversion probability. So yes, The era of capturing 10,000 low-intent clicks, people just looking for a quick definition of a word that's likely over. The AI handles the top of the funnel now.
Okay, that makes sense.
But the traffic that actually follows the citation link from an AI summary, they operate with radically higher intent.
Because the AI has already provided the baseline education, like they aren't browsing anymore, they are validating.
Precisely. Let's say a user asks an AI about the best CRM software for a mid-sized logistics company. The AI does all the heavy lifting of comparing features, right?
Right.
If that user then clicks your link, which the AI surfaced as the authoritative source, they're arriving at your site pre-qualified. They're ready to request a demo or initiate a trial.
Oh, I see.
Plus, there's an early mover advantage here. The AI acts as a massive trust proxy. If the smart librarian cites your brand, the user transfers their trust in the AI directly to you.
It acts like an algorithmic endorsement, but, that assumes the AI actually selects your content in the first place.
Exactly.
Which brings us to the mechanics. Because if you're a content creator listening to this, you know the traditional Google crawler was relatively rudimentary. It looked at keyword density, backlinks, meta tags. How is an AI model's reading process actually different?
It operates on an entirely different computational paradigm. Traditional crawlers were essentially just sophisticated text-matching algorithms.
Right, like if you wanted to rank for best running shoes, you had to make sure that exact phrase was in your header and your URL.
Right, string matching. But AI models use natural language processing, or NLP. They do not care about string matching. They evaluate semantic distance and entity relationships.
So they are looking at context, not just the words themselves.
Exactly. They detect the underlying intent. And since most of our listeners probably know the basics of NLP, let's look at how AI uses it for conversational queries.
Yeah, the Virtual Dreams article uses a really great example for this. Say a user types in a broad query like, what is the best laptop for computer science students?
Under the old model, that search is just an isolated event, right? The engine finds pages with that long tail keyword. But in an AI interface, the user might immediately follow up with, how about under 50,000 rupees?
And historically, if a search engine treated that as an isolated query, it would just give you random pages that said under 50,000 rupees and completely forget you were talking about laptops.
Right, which is a terrible user experience.
Yeah.
But the AI maintains a continuous contextual state. It remembers. It maps the entity 50,000 rupees directly back to laptop and computer science student from the previous prompt.
Wow. Okay, so if the AI is dynamically mapping those relationships across an entire conversation, that completely changes how we should write.
We've absolutely typed.
You don't have to keep awkwardly injecting your primary keyword into every single paragraph just to remind the crawler what the page is about.
No. In fact, doing that will probably hurt you now.
But there is a specific mechanical process the AI uses to pull your information to feed that conversation, right? The article refers to it as parsing.
Yes, parsing. This is probably the most critical concept to grasp today. A traditional search engine evaluates your entire web page as one big monolithic document and ranks it. An AI model deconstructs your page.
It breaks it down.
Right. It parses your content into isolated, discrete chunks.
So instead of grading my entire essay, the AI is basically scanning my paper, looking for the single best paragraph to quote in its own presentation.
That is exactly it. It isolates a short paragraph, or maybe a Q&A toggle, or a data table, and it evaluates the factual clarity of that specific chunk entirely on its own merit.
Oh, wow.
When it generates an answer for the user, it's essentially querying its database for the single best chunk available on the internet to answer that specific variable.
It's like a kitchen analogy. If traditional SEO was about baking the best possible cake and giving the whole thing to the judge, AI search is like a head chef who just wants ingredients from your prep station.
I love that, yes.
The chef doesn't want your whole cake. They want a perfectly diced onion for their own soup. And if you haven't diced your data into perfect, accessible chunks, the AI chef just bypasses you and grabs ingredients from a competitor.
That is a phenomenal way to visualize it. It is entirely about the mise en place of your data.
So if you're looking at your own website right now, how do you actually do that? How do you structure your content so it can be cleanly parsed into those high-value chunks?
It requires a really rigorous, almost ruthless approach to formatting. The Virtual Dreams analysis heavily emphasizes the strategic use of structural tags, your H1s, H2s, and H3s. You have to eliminate all ambiguity.
Give me an example, because I feel like a lot of brands still use that clever magazine-style copywriting for their headers.
Exactly, and that fails in this environment. Let's say you write a guide and use an H2 like the horizon of digital discovery.
Sounds poetic.
Right, a human reader might like the flair, But an AI parser finds it semantically hollow. It takes massive computational effort for the AI to figure out what that section is actually about. You need to replace that with a literal interrogative header.
Like a question.
Yes, like how do AI search engines evaluate content quality?
Because that interrogative header mirrors the exact natural language prompt a user is typing into ChatGPT.
Exactly. And if you follow that H2 directly with a concise, dense, factual paragraph that directly answers the question, you've just served the AI parser a perfectly optimized chunk on a silver platter.
Right. They also mention using bullet points and tables because AI just loves extracting data from them.
Oh, absolutely. Anything that visually structures data relationships is a massive win for parsing.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. If we carry that logic forward, doesn't that create a huge problem? Like if every single website restructures their content into literal Q&A formats and sterile tables just to appease a robot, isn't the web going to read like a giant, boring spreadsheet?
Yeah, that is a fascinating tension right there, and the industry is really wrestling with.
Doesn't the AI eventually penalize sites for lacking human voice?
Well, here's the thing. The AI parser absolutely requires structural clarity, yes. But the AI's evaluation algorithms are simultaneously hunting for depth, nuance, and original human perspective. It's looking for EAT.
EAT. Experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. We hear this acronym constantly in SEO circles.
Constantly.
But let's break down the mechanics. How does a piece of code actually measure an abstract concept like human experience? It doesn't know who I am.
True. But it measures experience by looking for distinct semantic footprints that a generic AI copywriter wouldn't produce. It looks for first-person syntax. It looks for highly specific proprietary data points.
Like saying, when we ran this test on 400 clients instead of just studies show.
Exactly. Or if you're writing about server maintenance and you mention a highly specific undocumented error code that you personally had to troubleshoot, the AI recognizes that as a signal of genuine, hard-earned experience.
That makes total sense. What about authority and trust, then? How is that calculated?
Trust is essentially a mathematical calculation of consistency and verification across the web. The AI looks at your digital footprint. Are you consistently linked to this specific topic on other platforms?
Like, does your name pop up in authoritative Reddit threads or Quora or industry podcasts?
Right. It cross-references your claims against known, trusted databases.
Which introduces the ultimate irony here. To effectively optimize for the most advanced robotic systems ever created, you actually have to stop writing for algorithms. You can't fake those experience signals with keyword stuffing. You have to write strictly, obsessively for human utility. You focus on real pain points.
It forces a return to genuine quality. For the last 10 years, SEO is kind of an arbitrage game, finding a low-competition keyword and spinning up a barely passable article just to get the traffic. AI obliterates that.
Because the AI can generate a generic article itself in 2 seconds.
Right. It assigns zero value to you doing it. It only values the net new human insight you bring to the table.
Okay, so let's say you've internalized all this. You're writing from deep personal experience. You're formatting with clean H2s. You've got a stellar author bio. You should be dominating AI search, right?
You would think so. But this is where the technical foundation becomes a brutal gatekeeper.
The technical table stick.
Yeah, the source material refers to these as non-negotiables. You could have the most profound insights in your industry, but if your technical spec is broken, the AI will simply ignore you.
We're talking about things like page speed, mobile optimization, HTTPS security. Which, I mean, that's been standard SEO advice for a decade. Why is it specifically fatal in an AI context?
It comes down to computational resource allocation. The large language models powering these systems require astronomical amounts of compute power. Their crawlers operate under strict efficiency constraints.
So they don't have time to wait around.
Exactly. If your server takes 4 seconds to respond, or your code blocks the rendering, the crawler abandons the session to conserve resources. Slow architecture is literally invisible to an AI.
Wow. Okay, I want to ask about schema markup too, because the article leans heavily into this. A lot of people understand schema conceptually as like a way to get rich snippets in Google. How does an AI model use it differently?
Schema markup, specifically JSON-LD, is critical because it explicitly defines entity relationships in a machine-readable format. When an AI uses real-time data to answer a prompt, it has to be mathematically certain it's pulling the right variable.
So instead of forcing the AI to guess if the number 120 in your paragraph refers to a price or a weight or the runtime of a video, the schema code explicitly tags it as a price attribute.
Right. You are giving the AI a literal name tag for your data. You're removing the computational friction. By mapping it out, you drastically increase the chance it'll confidently select your chunk over a competitor who forces the AI to guess.
That is such a great hack. Now, if reducing friction is the goal, what actively introduces friction? The host asks what mistakes will actively sabotage visibility. The article calls this the AI detox, right? What are the fatal flaws?
The single biggest offense is massive, unbroken walls of text. If you look at your blog right now and see paragraphs stretching for 400 words, you are functionally blocking the AI parser.
Because it can't isolate the specific variable it needs without analyzing the entire block.
Correct. Keep it to one distinct idea per paragraph. The second fatal flaw is obscured content. Hiding your most valuable info inside expandable menus, tabs, or entirely within PDFs.
Oh man, B2B companies do this constantly. They lock their best, most authoritative research inside a downloadable 40-page PDF.
And in an AI-first world, that is a death sentence. PDF parsing is notoriously resource-intensive and error-prone compared to clean HTML. The AI will likely skip your PDF in favor of a competitor who just put their findings in a well-structured web table.
You have to liberate your data.
You really do. Another thing the source calls out is exaggerated marketing claims without evidence.
Like saying you're the ultimate guaranteed #1 best-selling solution.
Exactly. AI models prioritize factual density. Superlatives without statistical proof are just classified as low-value noise.
So you strip the fluff, structure the HTML, expose your data. But this leads to a massive operational question. If we do all this, how do we actually know if any of it is working? If traditional clicks are dropping, the old metrics are breaking.
They are completely fracturing. If you rely solely on traditional click-through rates and keyword rankings, your dashboard is going to look like your business is dying, even if your brand is actually dominating AI citations.
So what new metrics do businesses actually need to track in the AI era?
First, you need to monitor brand mentions within AI answers. You have to actively query the major models with your industry's core questions and see if your brand surfaces in the text or the overviews.
Okay. Visibility in AI overviews.
Right. Secondly, you need to forensically analyze your referral traffic, specifically from AI tools. AI traffic doesn't always pass clean referrer strings, so you have to learn how to isolate those specific paths in your analytics.
And what about measuring that parsing strategy we talked about?
You look at content reuse frequency. If an AI model is consistently pulling your exact phrasing or your proprietary data points to answer queries, that is the ultimate KPI. It proves your domain authority is high enough to be trusted as the definitive source.
And what's fascinating here is that AI search and traditional search actually work together, right? User experience metrics like time on page still send vital quality signals to the AI models.
Absolutely. The systems inform each other.
So what does this all mean for the listener today? The overarching takeaway here seems to be you don't need to create a completely separate content strategy for AI and another one for traditional search.
No, trying to game the individual systems is a losing battle.
You just need to build content founded on clarity, context, and human usefulness.
That's it. It's a transition from trying to capture a click to being an authority providing the best possible data.
I love that. And honestly, if you're a business owner or a content creator looking to future-proof your strategy right now, you should absolutely visit Virtual Dreams.
Highly recommend it.
Go to virtualdreamsdigital.com for more incredible insights on modern SEO, digital marketing, and content strategy. The original article is just fantastic.
It really is. But, before we wrap, there's one final thought I'd love to leave everyone with. Something to mull over.
Yeah, let's hear it.
As AI search becomes essentially perfected at instantly answering factual informational queries like giving you the perfect laptop recommendation based on specs, what happens to the human web?
Wow. Yeah, if the AI handles all the facts, will the only content humans actually click through to read be like highly opinionated, personality-driven storytelling?
Exactly. The experiential narratives that an AI, by its very nature of statistical consensus, simply cannot replicate.
That is a profound way to look at it.
Yeah.
To survive the AI era, we almost have to double down on the things that cannot be computed. We have to be more human.
Precisely.
What a great note to end on. Keep learning, keep adapting, and don't lose your human voice in the process. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we will catch you on the next one.